Back in the day when President Park was in charge, he rallied his army buddies like a school captain, and his fellow townsfolk serving in the military joined him to form a club called the Douhuan, and guess what? He was the big shot in charge. Now he's exploiting the president's assassination probe to fill top military posts with his allies. He staffed it with his own. Army Chief Jiang Seong-ho naturally noticed this magic move. By the book, it was the security command's job to investigate the presidential assassination, but all he could do was give Quan Douhuan a friendly warning. He told him to tone it down a notch while trying to prevent the Seoul Guard command from falling into his tricky clutches. So, he sweet-talked the unambitious General Lee Tae-seon into taking over the Seoul Guard command, just to make sure nothing goes sideways. As for whether General Lee is the real deal like they show in the movies, well, that's a story for another day. Once Lee Tae-seon took office, he quickly discovered that several of his underlings were members of the New Dawn. Talk about a chaotic situation. Only artillery troops escaped unscathed. Quan Douhuan bribed superiors with loot from the probe, but his ambitions were permanently derailed thanks to Chief of Staff Jiang Seong-ho. To make matters worse, he tried to bribe with a hefty sum of 1 billion that he had confiscated, only to be turned down and lecture in return. To prevent Quan Douhuan's unchecked power growth, Jiang Seong-ho visited the defense minister. He aimed to shut down Quan Douhuan's investigation team and wanted to transfer him to some remote base far away from Seoul by year-end. Little did he know, the defense minister also had a member of the New Dawn in his circle. This news quickly reached Quan Douhuan's ears, and he realized he couldn't let this chance slip away. Even after being rejected last time, he had a plan brewing in his mind. Friends familiar with coup politics know it well. To stage a coup, first rally all possible allies. Quan Douhuan then called all New Dawn members for a meeting. He enthusiastically whipped out his investigation report, claiming that Chief of Staff Jiang Seong-ho was involved in the assassination of the president, and asked everyone to help him secretly arrest Jiang. Everyone knew this was just Quan's little frame-up, but hey, Jiang Seong-ho was the national martial law commander. To arrest him, you need defense minister's approval and president's signature first. Arresting chief without that? Treason. As he saw the members hesitating, Quan Douhuan whipped up a rousing pep talk. Folks, you all had top-notch grades back in school, but lacked the connections, so here you are, stuck in middle management. Sure, it's a brief encounter tonight, but the honor will last forever. And trust me, our battle king won't feast alone. Trust me, this speech from Quan Douhuan got everyone pumped. His words struck a chord with everyone present. Let's face it, they are only in these positions thanks to Quan Douhuan. So, after some back and forth, they agreed on a date for action, the day before the new government announcement, December 12th. Oh, and it just so happens to be Quan Douhuan's birthday, a special occasion. He chose this date with purpose, knowing that the biggest obstacle for his plan was none other than Lee Tae-seon. He tried to cozy up to Lee but failed score 1 for him. Since Lee was playing ball, he used the excuse of being transferred to invite Lee and a couple of others to his birthday bash at home. Lee wasn't keen on accepting at first, but seeing how Quan was really getting shipped out, he caved in. Little did he know, this was Quan's last desperate move before he took off. Quan set up the operation command at the 30th Police Association's mansion, the closest spot to the Blue House. Plus, they had a listening room that could eavesdrop on all phone calls in Korea. Their plan was to split into 2 teams, one led by Quan to grab the Chief of Staff, while he himself personally went to ask the acting president to sign the arrest warrant for the Chief of Staff. Once he gets the warrant, his action's legal. Double action for swift resolution. The day of action, just as Quan was gearing up to head to the Blue House, he got a call from the Chief of Staff. He thought his plan had been compromised and was feeling a bit on edge as he headed to the Chief's office. What surprise! The Chief just wanted to calm him down, worried he'd be unhappy about the transfer. Little did he know, Quan was here plotting his downfall. Taking advantage of the moment, Quan proposed that he'd send some men to the Chief's house later that night. He wanted to give one last report on the assassination. The Chief agreed, not realizing he was right in Quan's crosshairs. This was the perfect excuse Quan needed to waltz into the Chief's residence and make the arrest. And just like that, Lee Tae-seon showed up. He came over to Quan's place, but his target was nowhere to be found, so he planned on leaving. But lo and behold, he ran into Chief of Staff Li Jin, who was also looking for Quan. This guy was upright to the core and also a friend of Li Tiseong, so he joined the fray. Upon entering, they found Director Jia Yun and the Chief of Staff Ma was there. All three avoided political fights, their departments related to Seoul's safety. This made Li feel more and more uneasy, and he decided to make an early exit.